Hey guys, today I'm bringing you guys the best UFC 287 bets, where Alex Poatan Pereira will be defending his middleweight title against Israel the Style Bender Adesanya. As we all know, Alex has already beaten Izzy 3 times, twice in kickboxing and once in the UFC, and I don't think it's going to be any different this time. And two of those wins over Izzy were by TKO. Um, We just don't know how Israel is gonna look after taking a KO loss in the UFC and coming back and fighting the same guy who knocked him out. And I think this fight is not gonna be any different than the third fight. So the first bet I have for you guys here is the money line bet. I was surprised to see Alex Pereira still being the underdog in this fight. I mean, I feel like many people still think Israel is gonna just win this fight somehow. He's gonna survive 25 minutes and not get caught by the left hook. And I just don't see that happening. And so we're gonna go with the Alex Pereira with the money line, and it's sitting at around 110 or 130 plus 130, depending on which bookie you're going to be betting with. And I do think these lines are only going to be swinging towards Alex Pereira's favor. So for the next fight, we're going to look at is Kelvin Gastelum, is Chris Action Man Curtis. Now, Kelvin Gastelum has not fought in a while. Let me pull up this fight. Where is this fight? Kevin Gastelum. Yeah. So Kevin Gastelum has not fought in a while. I mean, over a year, if I remember correctly. His last fight was against Jared Cannonier in August 2021, and he lost by unanimous decision to Jared Cannonier, who's a power puncher and not really a volume striker, in my opinion. And his other loss for it was to Robert Whittaker, who's a top level fighter. I mean, I'm not gonna really fault him for losing to Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is like the second best middleweight, or the third best middleweight right now. And his only win in the last like 4 or 5 years is against Ian Highness. I mean, it just doesn't look good when you lose this many times in a row. So he's gonna be fighting Chris Curtis. As we can see, Chris Curtis has been fighting a lot. Like in the last, Chris Curtis in the last a year and a half, I think. Since 2021, yeah, he's fought 5 times in the UFC, and he's got win over Phil Haas by knockout, Brendan Allen by TKO, Rodolfo Vieira by unanimous decision, and his only loss came to Jack Hermanson by unanimous decision. And in that fight, Jack Hermanson was able to stay at range and kind of just uses volume striking to edge out the decision. And his last fight was against Buckley in December 2022, and that was a nice TKO win over him in the second round. So I mean, I'm gonna take Chris Curtis. The odds are pretty close right now. They're both. I think Kevin Gastelum is a slight favorite right now. After coming off a layoff, he's up minus 130 or minus 125, depending on where you look him up. He's minus 130 right now, or minus 130 at Bet Online, and minus 125 at BetWay. Yeah, so I'm gonna take Chris Curtis here, money line. I think that's the safest play. I don't see him finishing Kevin Gastelum, who has a very solid chin, never been knocked out in his career, only been submitted twice in his career. I think this fight is definitely going all 3 rounds, and Chris Curtis's volume striking and power punching is gonna be the difference in this fight. And also, Gastelum does have good wrestling, but he never really uses it. I haven't seen him use his wrestling since that Ultimate Fighter finale, and that's the only fight that I saw him wrestle. Like, so we're gonna go with Chris Curtis, the Action Man, by decision, or just Moneyline. So for the next underdog of the card is Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Kevin Holland, man, like I'm a really big fan of Kevin Holland, but I don't know what, like this guy makes some really bad decisions in the octagon. In his last fight, I mean, he was a big favorite in the fight to win against Stephen Thompson, who was like in his 40s, I think, or yeah, Stephen Thompson is in his 40s now. Wow. And he just went out there and started striking with the best striker at 185, in my opinion. One of the best strikers at 185. Or I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, is this fight at 185 or 170? Yeah, it's at 170. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, this fight is at 170. So yeah, he was fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and I had a lot of money on him in that fight. I definitely thought he was going to use his wrestling and maybe lock in a submission. We've seen Stephen Thompson get submitted before in his career, but he just goes out there trying to knock him out. Just unbelievable, you know. His corner stopped that fight. I think threw in the towel in the fourth round. After the fourth round. So this is why I'm taking Santiago Ponzinibbio, who just got a really good TKO win over Alex Morono. I mean, this guy knocked him out clean in the last round. So I mean, we know this guy's got some serious power. He's got 16 knockout wins in 35 fights and 6 submissions. I mean, this guy's a finisher. He's only been knocked out 3 times and never been submitted. And I just don't see Kevin Holland submitting him here. This dude is very tough. This is why I'm taking Santiago Ponzinibbio at some big, juicy underdog odds. So for the next fight, for the last fight, guys, let me pull this up. Where is the last fight? Yeah. So for the last fight I have here is between Adrian Yanez versus Rob Font. We're going to go with Rob Font. To be honest, I was really shocked to see how big of a favorite Yanez is in this fight. More than likely, probably due to finishing low-level UFC tomato cans, whereas Rob Font has been fighting killers at 180, 135. His last 2 losses were to, one of them was to the former champion Jose Aldo, and his other loss was to Marlon Chito Vera. I mean, Marlon Vera is our top 5 fighter right now, and I just don't understand how Yanez is such a big favorite in this fight. It just blows my mind, you know. This is why I'm taking Rob Font. I mean, this guy's boxing is very underrated. His jab is very crisp. His volume is there. Like, this guy's durable, never been knocked out in his career. Like, what more do you want? I mean, I do understand why the lines are the way they are. Like, Adrian Yanez has been finishing low-level cans. Finished Tony Kelly by TKO in the first round. Got a split decision win over Davy Grant, who's a solid fighter. Maybe if he got a TKO win over Davy Grant, I would have been more I would have favored him to win this fight. But I mean, he got a win over TKO win over Randy Costa, who's a 1 round fighter. Randy Costa has no gas tank after 1 round. You look at his record; he's got 6 wins and 4 losses. He's been submitted by Guida Canetti, who's like a 40-something years old, yeah, 43 years old. Tony Kelly, who's already, I mean, he's 36. Like, how do you get submitted by? I mean, it's just, I just don't get it, you know. Like, these wins are all over low-level fighters. I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's getting knockout wins over these cans. But I'm just not sold on him yet. I just feel like Rob Font's gonna, like, he's gonna come ready for this fight. He's gonna put the pace on Adrian Yanez. And I have seen Yanez not really, like, he starts kind of slow and he kind of picks it up in the later rounds. But this is a 3 round fight. I mean, Rob Font's in 3 round fights, like, this guy does very good. This is why I'm going with Rob Font. You're gonna get him at some pretty good odds here in this fight, guys. So this is my underdog picks of UFC 287, guys. Please hit the like button if you like the picks. Please comment below if you don't agree with my picks, and let me know who you're gonna put your money on. Alright, guys. Thank you. Good luck this weekend, guys.